Hi, and welcome to Elise Talks. Welcome to the third video in the Stress Mindset series. In this video, we're going to discuss how our personal beliefs and biases affect stress and what it does in our lives, as well as talk about some of the other benefits of or reasons why we have stress. So let's get right into the fact that stress for us is a lot like this little sentinel that stands at the tower in our life. It's very aware of the circumstances around us, and it's actually something that can quite often help to keep us safe. It's kind of like the adrenals are in our body, in the physical body, where they're always like, oh, is there something happening? Is there something we need to be worried about? It's the reason that we recycle so many negative thoughts all the time. If you've watched the video on meditation, you'll know what I'm talking about there. And if you haven't, you can go back and check the stats that I quote there. But there is a purpose for it, and it does, unfortunately, it elevates cortisol, and it causes us to kind of have some issues with how we process insulin if we spend too much time in that super stressed out state. But it is also necessary to keep us from putting our hand on a burner or stepping in front of a large truck on the street. So it's not all bad, right? That's kind of something we've been addressing all along. The other thing, the other place that we run into stress is through exercise. And again, not a bad thing, but absolutely is something that releases, again, some of those hormones, causes us to push the body a little bit, to quite often push the mind, depending on what we're doing. And it can be a place where we experience stress that can feel stressful and can feel overwhelming to the body at some points, but in the best possible way. So, that mindset of like, well, I exercise to burn off the crazy or to de-stress, which I see all the time. I've seen a million tank tops that say that I exercise to burn off the crazy. It is to help with the mental health. It is to help with the body, but it does cause stress in your system. The other thing, and I addressed this in I believe both of the other videos, is things that are important to us. So if you find yourself before a meeting, before a presentation, before an important personal conversation or interaction with people that really matter to you, you're normal. Something that I run into all the time when I'm going to present or teach is, I'm kind of walking around feeling a little panicky, or I put off the final, finishing touches on a presentation. My husband will always say to me, oh, are you all ready? Or you know what you're going to say, you know what you're going to do? And I'll be like, no, I'm super stressed out about it. And I mean, we've been together for over 24 years now, and he'll say to me, why? Like, you're really good at this, you're comfortable, this is what you love doing, and it's the truth. But what stresses me out is that I'm most concerned about what the experience for the people in the audience or in a class are going to have. I really, really want it to be positive. I want it to be of value to them. I want them to feel like they spent time on something that was worthy of that precious commodity to them. So, there's stress about something that is really of high value to me. And it's again, something that motivates me. It causes me to be a little more creative and to be mindful of what I'm doing when I'm presenting and when I'm working. And it in fact usually helps me to have better performance. So again, not all bad, right? The last thing is our own personal biases and our own personal dialogue that we hear in our heads. I think that a lot of us hear, like that little sentinel, the guy on the tower watching to make sure that nothing bad happens to us. That same mentality can happen, but with negative personal talk. We can really have these beliefs about ourselves that and quite often fall into a spotlight category where, oh my gosh, everyone's watching me, but I'm so bad at this, and everyone's going to know, or I'm terrible in social circumstances, or I'm a terrible public speaker, or I'm bad at this, or I can't perform in this direction, and everyone's going to notice. And we get this dialogue that actually just accentuates the feelings of being stressed out and the experience around it. It's something that a lot of people who struggle with anxiety bump into this one a lot as well, because they have this belief that I am the anxiety, this is who I am, there's no way around it. One of my children struggles severely with anxiety, and we'll get very excited about an event coming up, and then when we get just on the outside of that event, or just, an hour away of something coming to fruition, there's this huge panic and this huge disbelief about ability to be social and to communicate and to even enjoy the event or have fun. And it's something that quite often I have to sit this child down and say, look, is this just a story you're telling yourself, or is it based on other facts or other scenarios? Like, why do you have this belief? And I know it's the anxiety, but it's also something where I can get this child to understand, like, this might actually just be this dialogue in your head. And if you can understand that, if you can acknowledge that personal bias, that deeply rooted belief of yourself is part of the issue, and you can understand that it maybe isn't correct at all, then you may avoid that feeling or that severity in the stress response and the experience. For this child, this is like, we're talking like the hyperventilated breathing and the tears and the panic. This is all just something that, again, comes back to these personal belief systems and some of the things that are going on in the mind. And if we can understand them, if we can break down biases, if we can understand why we think that, and understand that, in essence, a lot of the things that we believe about ourselves are things, in fact, they're just the story we've told ourselves. They are not based on the facts of how others feel about us or how we've performed in prior experiences. This can be of great value. So that is definitely one of the more negative stress responses, is just that deeper confirmation of a personal bias being true, because look at it, this is how I'm responding. And I think if we can dig into that a little more clearly and we can understand the stress response, we can understand why we're feeling it, we are able to manage some of those self-beliefs and the physical responses that we have. I hope this has been of benefit to you. These are some really powerful things that I have learned for myself. Working at this for years and years, but in the last year, I've really come to understand how many of these things I trip over on a daily basis in my life. And it's been of great value to ask myself, is this just a story I'm telling myself today? Is this stress important to me? Presenting and teaching, going back to my example, that's like my favorite place to be. It's where I feel like the best version of myself. So I am truthfully puzzled when I feel so stressed out, concerned every time I get there. But I've taken a lot of comfort in understanding that it is because I love it so deeply and I feel so connected, and there's so much congruence for me in it. Take a deeper look, and something that can help with this is to make notes and write it down and see it on paper instead of it bouncing them around in your brain, and examine it. See how it makes you feel. See how it helps you to value stress in some ways and manage the responses of it at other times when it's for the negatives, and move forward with that knowledge. That's, again, very powerful. So I hope that's been of benefit to you. If you have questions, comments, you're free to leave them here on YouTube. Or if you would like to contact me personally, you can reach me at elise@russellwellnessgroup.com, and feel free to check out that website. There's lots of interesting and additional resources on there as well. Thanks for joining me. Have the best possible day. Have the best possible stress response and mindset. Do the work, be mindful of it, and we'll see you soon.